Hello everyone, I'm Colin Milligan. I'm here with the LM Tribune. This is Bennett Spies. Today we're conducting an interview with a stranger. The goal of this interview is to see what we can learn from engaging in a meaningful conversation with someone we've never met. And that someone we've never met is Mr. Gary Kelley. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Gary Kelley. And Colin and I met just a few days ago, quite honestly. I walked into a noisy auditorium, and I was seated right next to Colin, and I said, "Who is this good-looking guy? I should introduce myself." And I told him my name and asked him his, and the second time that he repeated himself, why, I still didn't understand him and couldn't pronounce it the right way. But once I heard his name and we talked, we instantly became very close. Now, just so you'll know what very close is that I told him that I had a little bit of a hearing problem at age 85, and that in the noise or big crowds or whatever, it's a little tough. So I says, "You'll just have to get close to my ear so I can understand what you say." And then Colin and I knew each other very well after that. Anyway, I'm a retired part-time for the 5th time. I just keep finding things to do. I live in Loveland, Ohio, house number 11. Moved around a lot. And let's see, I made a few notes here. So I did want to thank Colin for the invitation, and think that it's basically an honor for me to be here, and for him to think that I was worthwhile to be interviewed. But anyhow, we'll see how it goes. What am I? I should wear my glasses too, but I won't. I'm a full-time husband and father and grandfather, and as of about a year and a few days ago, a great-grandfather, 85 years old. I'm a little bit of an artist. I got a degree in industrial design from Ohio State a few years ago. Never used it for 30 years out of school. In between, though, I had, after I graduated, I spent a few years in insurance management and sales, and then I moved on into transportation sales and management. And after that, I took a stint as a freelancer of selling advertising for a book called The Thomas Register of American Manufacturers, which you probably have never heard of, but it was very popular with business-to-business people finding each other before you had iPhones and internet and that sort of thing. But anyway, I think it was 1978, took my 2 daughters down to D.C. One was about 13 and about 9, and I thought it's time they learned about how our country was founded and what it looked like around that time. And some of the places we went to D.C. and spent a lot of time there, and ran into an old high school friend there by accident. Went on down to Jamestown and then over to Yorktown. But in the meeting, I in the middle of that, I found something that was very interesting to me, and it was a verse with a coin on it. No, it was without a coin. I invented the coin. Anyway, I brought it back home to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where we were living at the time, and turned it into a business because I had a little Christian cross. It was on a piece of plastic. It was emblazoned with a cross, and it had a verse with it which meant something to me. And I thought, I'll carry that in my pocket because it talked about that. But in 30 days it wore out. And I says, well, I paid $1.50 for this thing, and now I don't have it anymore. I decided that I might make it out of a coin. And I started and worked with a bunch of people in Fort Wayne, found the right people, and spent probably a year or year and a half putting it together. And I found a little business that I thought would help me because I was making some pretty decent money in the transportation business at the time. And the government kept taking all my money. And I says, you know, if I had a little business, if whether it made money or not, why, maybe I could write a bunch of things off, like trips down to Florida or who knows what. But that's the reason I started the business. But I guess the Lord had other ideas. And that little business turned into something that was part-time out of my bedroom and my garage and the washing machine downstairs where we cleaned the coins. It turned into, several years down the road, when I decided to write my own verses with it and put it on a bookmark and put the coin that I had finally found out the best way to manufacture, just cutting out, well, not in a stamping the coins. I started with a Christian cross, and then I decided one day that I could write my own verse because my mother wrote a lot of verse, and I just kind of learned from her. And anyway, see, I told you I'd get long-winded.
No.
Anyhow, this is I was supposed to be just introducing myself now. Hello, I'm Gary Kelley. Anyway, that little business was run out of my house with just my wife and I and my 2 daughters for several years. I wrote a verse, put a smiling face on it, and that worked out a little bit better. But still, I was running around to hospital gift shops and Hallmark stores and Christian bookstores and all that, trying to make some money just so I could have a business to work for me. And down the road, I wrote a verse called "The Caring Heart." And when I wrote "The Caring Heart" and put it on the market, and I had found a guy that wanted to help me sell. But anyway, I got a distributor who saw it. And I had been making enough money to put my daughters, pay their tuition through college. And that was about it. It was a break-even thing. I had a lot more money to pay for college, but still it was something to do. But I wrote my verse about the caring heart, and we started to expand exponentially. I mean, we doubled our business the first year, we doubled it again the second year, we doubled it again the third year. At one point, I became the highest, whatever. I was the #1 seller of impulse items in the Christian bookstore business, and basically in most of the Hallmark stores and the hospital gift shops in the whole United States.
How old were you when you started that business?
55.
All right. Never
Yeah.
too late.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I see that card that you have?
This is the last one I did.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I'd be doing here. I brought along the last flyer that we made. That turned into 35 different things, and that's the very last one that I produced right there before I turned my business over to my son-in-law.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'll make sure that before the interview ends, I'll grab pictures of these so we can show them to the audience. But just to clarify, these are cards. They have some Bible sort of prose on them, and then they have some coins attached. That's
Very cool.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
55 when you started that.
I might have been older than that. Let's see. I think I made the trip to D.C. in 78. So that'd been close to, no, I was in my 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you don't mind, I'm going to pivot into asking some questions about the more distant past. Where did you grow up, and what was your childhood like?
Okay. I grew up not very far from here. Less than 10 miles, as a matter of fact. Lebanon, Ohio. Our hospital was on the second floor above the sweet shop on Broadway, 1939. Blair Brothers. I think it had 3 beds. My brother was born there a year and a half before me. Have you seen any of the episodes of Happy Days?
Of Happy Days?
Yeah.
I don't
Are
think
they
I'm familiar.
streaming any place or on any networks or whatever?
I don't think I've heard of it before.
Well, it was very, very big. I don't know, 60s or 70s. I mean, the years have run by for me quite quickly. But anyway, it was basically people that lived in the 50s, which was when I was brought up in Lebanon, Ohio. And if you can find Happy Days anywhere at all, you'd get a kick out of it. For the two main characters in the place was, I forget the guy's name, but he was Ron Howard was the played. He's one of the moguls in Hollywood today, and another guy named Fonzie. And but the two of them were, one was a biker and the other was a straight guy that just was an ordinary guy. And the things they got into and the things they did, it was just funny. But everything was a good time, and that's what I grew up in. And the people that grew up in the 50s, you'll never understand it unless you were there. It was a wonderful time to do it. We could ride our bicycles across town. We could stay out all day. Our mothers wouldn't worry about us. If something happened, another mother probably knew who we were and would take care of things or give us lunch or call our mother and let her know what happened. But it was a great time to live.
What was your favorite thing to do?
Bicycles all over town. Football in somebody's side yard. Baseball in the summertime. We lived on the edge of town, and there was a farm 3 doors up the road. And there was only one cow in it, and it was usually back somewhere else, and we used that for a baseball diamond. Right. And there was a half a dozen of us or more that got together there almost every day and played baseball. It was a whole lot of fun. But growing up was just really a good time, making friends and having fun. That's what the 50s was all about. When I went on to high school, I tried basketball for about a year, and I didn't get much playing time. But I never got to get any better because at the end of my freshman year and right before my sophomore year, I was in a car accident. I was riding in the middle, there was another guy driving, my brother was on the rest, and the guy pulled out in front of us, and my face went into the dashboard. And I cut off part of my lip and broke my jaw and 2 other things, but I ran 2 miles to get help, and we got the help, and anyhow, I had it wired together for a while, and I didn't play basketball anymore. But I just started making friends, and I guess I made enough friends that they made me the junior class president and the senior class president. So
You got one on you.
so
Yeah.
I
I
had
wouldn't know anything about that.
I had a great time in high school. Let's see. I made some notes here. I just recently, and here you can get 40 minutes out of me, I'll tell you. Our daughters gave us a Christmas present, my wife and I. They paid for it. We did the work. But there's a book, what's it called? Anyhow, we wrote our own life story. We got 1 question every week from this company, and we'd transcribe it and send it in and put pictures with it if we wanted to and so forth and so on. And by the time I got done with it, I had 101 pages and quite a few pictures, and I found out that I remembered things that I never remembered for 40, 50 years. But anyhow, I learned some of the things that I had done in high school, and I wondered how I had the time to do it, but I guess it was because I wasn't 85 years old. After basketball, we had about 112 kids in the graduating class in 1957, and probably over 95 of them were friends of mine. And they were all kinds of friends. Rich friends, poor friends, fat friends, skinny friends, white friends, black friends. There was a young black fellow, he and I, Marvin Mills. We sit side by side in the auditorium every day before school and traded jokes and whatever. But just, I made a lot of friends, and I guess that's maybe one of the reasons they made me. Of course, I was a hard worker too, and I did a lot of things in school. But anyhow, it was a fun time. What did we do? I stayed busy. Oh, I started work sometime earlier than high school. I went on, I started the paper route. I worked at 2 different supermarkets. I worked in the clothing store. My junior year, I got a summer job in an asphalt company. J.R. Jurgensen was the name, but they built the Montgomery County Airport up in Springboro. And every pound of asphalt that went into that, I weighed it on the trucks before it went into the runway on the Montgomery County Airport. But anyhow, we kept busy when we were young. We had fun and we worked, and it was just a good time. We didn't have cell phones or gaming or YouTube or social media or anything like that, so we had to find something to do.
In high school, after school, what were you typically doing?
In high school, after school,
Yeah.
Working in one of those jobs.
Yeah.
I didn't work. I can't remember that far back, really. There was a place called Marvin's Supermarkets where I worked for a while. It was an independent store, and I bagged groceries there. A couple of times I worked overnight and did some stocking of the shelves and that sort of thing. But after school, I got a car in my junior year, and I dated a couple of girls.
All right.
That was fun. A fellow moved up from Cincinnati and taught me to play golf, and I've enjoyed that my whole life. But I don't know. Back then they had drive-in movies you could go to, and that's where we saw most of the shows that we saw. Let's just say, when I was a young fella, I wasn't the young fella that I am today. I learned a little bit as I went on in life. My father caught me doing some things that I shouldn't have done, and he taught me not to do them anymore. But as I grew up, I got better at doing things the right way. But I always had a strong work ethic. But that's pretty much what my childhood was like. And then on to OSU for 4 years, and out into the workforce after that.
Could you describe your core values and sort of how they were inspired over the course of your life?
Okay, I'll start with number 2. That would be a friend to everybody. Number 3, work hard. And if you're going to do any work, make sure you do it 100%. Don't do it halfway. Do it the right way. Number 3, use your given talents and be proud of whatever you do. Doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a janitor or whatever. Why, you've been given something that is yours in your lifetime. Make sure you get good use out of it. Number 5, never stop learning. Make that a continuous thing. I was lucky. I had 2 parents, a man and a woman. And I can't remember which was one of 11 children and which one was one of 13 children. But anyhow, my mother was growing in eastern Kentucky, and she lost half of her family with typhoid back in the 20s. She went on and got an associate degree at a little college in Pine Ridge, Kentucky, and became a first grade teacher for most of her life. My father was born in Texas. He had family all over. His father died very shortly after he was born. He had a younger sister that was, right after that, I guess, the father was died. And his mother remarried to a guy that I guess wasn't the greatest in the world. Back in those days, well, you could do anything you wanted to do with a kid, and they sent him from one side of Texas to the other side of Texas to work for a farmer someplace to earn his board and keep and to grow up. And he didn't like that very much, so he, when he was in his teens, he got on somewhere onto a train, boxcar, or whatever, and got to California some way and worked in the oil fields for a while. But his younger sister was the only one he was really close to, and she was there in eastern Kentucky is where she wound up. And he went to visit her one day, and that's where he met my mom. And he thought she was pretty cool, but he went back to California, but he couldn't stop thinking about her, and a year later he came back and they got married. Wow. And we were not rich by any means. We were working class, middle class. Dad was a barber most of his life. He lost one job. He didn't like the guy that he was working with, and he went to barber school, and he barbered the rest of his life. He started out working for, well, he was up Wright Patterson, learning the trade after he got out of school. Then he went to Middletown, Ohio, spent his life there in Middletown. And he worked for a couple other guys in a barber shop for several years, and then he left and decided he'd run his own barber shop. So he had a 4-chair barber shop on Broadway in Middletown for quite a few years, and then he got a buddy, and they decided just the two of them would work together, and they opened their own shop just a little further up the street, and they did that for quite a while. And in the end, Dad had his own shop working by himself, but he worked long hours, and he made good money because he worked hard and worked long hours. And he put my brother and I both through school. We helped a little bit, but not that much. I did some work while I was at Ohio State, but Dad paid my tuition. And Mother taught school all that time. She took me to church every day, and she taught by example. She didn't give me any lessons any other way. She just showed me the right way to do things. And Dad, he worked, like I said, all the time, very hard, very long hours, and he also taught by example. Well, actually, he disciplined by example, I'll put it that way. If you don't know what a barber strap is, why they had these straight razors way back then, which they still do today, I suppose. But the straps that they use to sharpen them on are twice the size of any belt you ever saw, and very thicker and very much hard when they hit you on the backside. But anyhow, Mom and Dad both loved us, and we knew it. Yeah. And that's the way I grew up. Mom taught me how to behave and the right things to do in life, and Dad straightened me out if I didn't. And he taught me how to fish and how to hunt and several other things. But he was also a mechanic, and he was a jack of all trades. So that's how I got a work ethic and learned the right way to live my life. When I was 15, this is early TV, Cincinnati, Ohio. There was two big stars on WLWT in Cincinnati. One was a fellow by the name of Mel Martin, who ran the Breakfast Club, and everybody watched Mel. And then there was another one called Ruth Lyons, who was real big, twice as big as Mel, so forth. But anyhow, everybody watched the two of them. Turns out that Mel Martin was also a preacher. And back then, they did these things like having a traveling preacher come in and preach at the church every night for a week. And I already knew about Jesus and some of the things they did in the Bible, and I'd been to church a lot. But anyhow, Mel came in that night, and his actual name was Dibble. So Mel Martin Dibble came to our church, and about 3 days or 4 days through the thing, I gave my life to the Lord. And, well, temporarily. I mean, it was a struggle with me because I still had some problems to work out. Not anything major, but I didn't do everything. Through high school, I was very good. Through college, well, you know, I got in a fraternity and I ran around with some guys that weren't exactly, you know, but they were all good guys, but they just did some things that maybe it didn't need to do. But anyway, when you're brought up the right way, you come back to what you were brought up with. And that's what a good thing is. I was involved as I got my own kids and grew up. Are we still on that subject?
We can go wherever we need to.
Oh my goodness. I just wanted to tell people that, you know, I learned a little bit as I grew and had children. And I've surrounded myself in churches with Christian people, other Christian people. I learned a lot of things from them, and being around the church and so forth and so on. And over a period of time, I mean, I was in, like I say, house number 11 in Loveland, where I am now. So I was in a lot of different churches, and I was into just about everything. I was on the administrative board in one. I was a fundraiser in another. I was what is that word? Oh, I was on a search committee for 2 different churches. And when I was up in Fort Wayne, I was the church treasurer of a fairly good-sized Baptist church for 3 or 4 years. Right. So I did what was basically what I was supposed to do. Yeah. But you know, through it all, I finally learned a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's what it's all about. Yeah. And things just got better and better and better all the time. Yeah. So anyway, like I say, it's a learning relationship, and people that don't know anything about it, why they should at least go to a church someplace and yeah. find out about what it is, and find out the one Bible, the one book that will give you everything you need to know about life forever. Yeah. And you don't have to remember every verse or anything at all like that. But if you understand what God wants you to do through life, why it'll put you on the right track for everything.
Absolutely.
Just to clarify, when you listed your values, you said be a friend to everyone, work hard, use your given talents, and never stop learning. Did you mention that there was one before that you hadn't mentioned yet, number 1?
I did. I forgot about that entirely because I was too busy talking about it. And that one is basically love the Lord and love your neighbor. That's number 1 for everybody, anywhere. That'll get you through life.
Now, if I could move on to something a little bit more relevant to now, how has America changed from when you were younger and then segueing into, you know, being middle-aged to now?
As I watched America grow, I don't type very well. That's why I moved to writing. New businesses were created, inventions, and ingenuity made the USA into the leader in the world. And everyone wanted to work with his brain or his brawn. He could make a good, decent living. There were values that were right and wrong, and everybody knew what they were. Yeah, there was a yes and a no, instead of all this gray area that has been created. We could travel safely anywhere we wanted to, and we could feel safe when we were there. The majority of people wanted to work, and they didn't want to be on welfare unless they were unable to work. People in America wanted to work and wanted to do right, and that's the reason it became a great nation. And I'll leave it to the viewer to determine what it is today. Anyhow, I know somebody that can make it right. And that person has proved it. I know that a lot of people say what they would love to do, but don't give us anything to go on because they don't know how to do it and never have. No names will be mentioned. That's about what I have to say about how America has grown, what I've seen, and what I had once upon a time.
All right.
So were you born in the 40s?
Not quite. Missed it by a year.
39?
Yeah,
All right. So you lived through the Civil Rights Movement.
I did.
Do you have any fond memories or big memories about living through that time?
No, I don't.
No?
Because I lived in Lebanon, Ohio. And there was about 6 black people in my high school. And they were all good friends, and I loved them, every one, just like all the rest of my class. And yeah, I knew it was going on, and I felt bad about it. But as far as being a part of it, I had just gotten married in 1963. So really, I was raising a family, and that was my major goal. And I didn't really pay attention to what was going on in the Civil Rights Movement, although I was very happy when they sent the National Guard in to help people put the blacks in the schools and to get them to the stature in the country as the same as every other person.
Right.
Could you remember any presidencies that you're overly fond of, that you enjoyed most?
Oh, yes. Ronald Reagan would be number one. I was very enjoyable about having him as president. And he had so many good things to say to the people that I wish everybody would have listened to and taken heed to. But I just believe that we don't need to be governed by an overabundance of people in Washington, D.C. We need to cut out about half of them or more. We could start saving trillions instead of losing trillions. And I think there's somebody that wants to do that instead of tax us more and add to more government. Enough said?
All right. Yeah. Moving on to the last question that we have. Do you have any advice for younger generations, people our age growing up?
Oh, I think so. Let's see. I want everybody that's looking at this to know that there's only one thing that's going to be other than the good Lord: knowledge. It's better than money. It's better than athleticism. It's better than anything. Knowledge will help you get along in the world. The more of it you have, the more of it you gain, the better off you're going to be. It doesn't matter where you are and what your stature is or station or anything else. Keep gaining knowledge. Start when you're in high school. You're going to be learning for what you do in the 20s and what you do in the 30s and what you're doing in the 40s. It's not just books and reading and that sort of thing. You're going to need that down the road. Talk to your teachers. Ask them questions. Talk to your coaches. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid to ask anybody a question, because that's the way you learn things.
Talk to strangers and ask them questions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have a smile on your face when you ask. That's a very good icebreaker. If you don't already have a church to attend, find one that preaches the Bible. Take your friends or make your friends in the church. The Bible is all truth. and it will teach you about anything worthwhile in life. Anything. It's all there. There were 500 prophecies in the Bible that have already been fulfilled. There were 500 people that saw Jesus after he died and was resurrected. It's the right place to start your life. It's the right thing to keep with you all the time. It's the right thing to put as number one all the time. Knowledge, faith in God, and doing His will get you where you want to be every time. If you haven't been to it, go across the river and check out the Creation Museum or Noah's Ark. They're very good things to go and see. You'll learn a lot when you go there. But mainly find a good church that teaches the Bible, nothing else. If they don't teach the Bible, find another church. I can give you a place to go. I got my own. These are my retirement cards. Yeah, active adults, active retirees. That's my wife and I. The square dancing we don't do anymore. My wife stopped a little while ago. But on the back of us, it's got the name of my church, which I put on there for a long time ago. So if anybody gets my name, they also get a good place that they can go to grow in the Word. That's about my best advice that I can give to anyone. I don't think there can be much more that's going to be of any more important than those two things.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that ends the prepared questions. But if you want to go into some more personal questions, you mentioned you are a husband and a father. Would you walk us through how you got married and had your kids?
I did want to touch on that. I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world. Not only did I have a very good business that I could retire from when I was 67 years old, it would pay for most of my retirement. But I raised two daughters in church. And they learned not from me, well, in the beginning from me, but we went to good churches. They learned from good people that knew the Lord. And they taught that to their kids. And the oldest grandson is teaching it to his today. And he, by the way, is a youth minister up in Detroit, Michigan. Anyhow, I've got two daughters. I've got 5 grandchildren, 3 girls, 2 boys. The oldest boy is a youth minister in Detroit. His wife is a surgeon that's just finished her residency at Ford Hospital up there, and she's going to be doing a year of fellowship at the University of Michigan, and then 2 more years of fellowship at Grand Oaks, I think it is. So after 8 years in Detroit, who knows where they'll be, but they're the ones that gave me my first great-grandchild. Judah James. And both my daughters, both my son-in-laws, all 5 of my grandchildren, and the 3 that have married into the family, all love the Lord. I can't ask for any more than that.
That's awesome.
The 2 boys, both son-in-laws, both have their own businesses, and one's a partner in a engineering firm in Indianapolis, and the other one's a partner in a software firm out of Columbus, Ohio, but he just stays pretty near home in Loveland, Ohio. And they both have better business than I ever had. One's got some business he does over in Europe, but big companies, both of them. And anyhow, the Lord has blessed me, and I'm glad that I found him when I did.
How did you and your wife meet?
That's a long story, but I won't go through the whole thing. Blind date.
Okay.
Fraternity brother at Columbus was dating her sorority sister in Miami of Ohio. And he didn't have a car, and I did.
All right.
And he says, hey, I think I was the social chairman of the fraternity that year, at the end of my sophomore year. And I was going over to arrange a get-together with the U chapter down in Miami. And anyway, he knew about it. He says, how about if I take the bus down to Lebanon and you and I drive over to Miami together? And if you'll drive me over, why, I'll get you a date. And so I had a date with a very beautiful girl named Marilyn, and enjoyed it. She was dating a guy that went to somewhere up in Defiance or Otterbein College, I think is where he was. But anyhow, I had a very nice date. I went back to Ohio State University and remembered that was a lot of fun and enjoyed it. And she went back to Miami, and anyhow, a few weeks later, a little while, not too long, Jack was telling me that Marilyn really wanted to see me again. Yeah. And Julie was telling Marilyn that Gary really wanted to see her again. And I couldn't remember her name, and she couldn't remember my face. And anyhow, we got back together the second time.
Yeah.
Here we are today.
All right.
61 years after we got married.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yep.
It is. I don't have any more questions to add.
All right.
So,
Well,
do you?
no, I think we
All right.
I told you I'd give enough so you could get
Yeah,
40
I think
minutes
we
out of
did.
it.
I mean,
covered a good scope. So
Yeah, the last thing I can say is thank you for coming in. I'm actually impressed with you're a very interesting person. I'll tell you that.
I've done a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. The Lord has blessed me beyond
Yeah.
belief.
Yeah.
I could tell you stories from now on about just all kinds of things, about my golf game, which I never expected to have. My wife bought me, I just went out and hacked for 55 years. And she bought me 5 golf lessons. One of our homes when we moved back from Fort Wayne was over in Greendale, Lawrenceburg, Indiana area. We lived right on the Hidden Valley Lake golf course. But we weren't on the golf course. We were the community next door. And anyway, she bought me 5 lessons, and they had a young teaching pro over there that was just really, really tremendous. He could tell me things enough times that I could actually understand what he was saying. And I took a lesson, and then I'd go off for 30 days, and I would practice the one thing he told me to do. And I spent the summer that way. And by the end of the 5 lessons, I turned into a golfer. What used to go like this down the fairway went straight down the middle, 260 yards. And I said, it was amazing. And then the Lord let me go down and live at Hilton Head Island for 12 years. We just came back 7 years ago. And I rented a house in Sun City, Hilton Head, off the island for a while. And they had a TV show of their own. One day they had a guy told us about only day that I ever listened to it. This is. But anyhow, they were talking about Harbor Town, where the pros play the Heritage every spring. Said that they were starting a program called Forecaddying, and there might be something for the residents of Sun City to get some perks out of or have something to do with, and so forth and so on. They said this was on a Monday, and they said tune in on Wednesday, and you might find out something from the head pro that you might want to do. Well, I didn't tune in again because I had the first job on Tuesday. I had sent him my resume and told him what I'd been doing, and I was the first part-time forecaddy that they hired at Harbor Town. And I stayed down there for 12 years, and I could play every course at Sea Pines for free, except for Harbor Town, whenever I wanted to. head pro says, don't think of this your home course because you're not going to play it that often. But when I had friends come to town or family come to town, we could all go play, just like I would the other courses. And all 4 of us were on it for free for 12 years. But, that wasn't the best part of what the Lord gave me. A few months after I'd been down there, a neighbor came over and where we lived, and he says, why are you driving 30 minutes to the island to work down there all the time? He says, there's a new course that's been built over here. It's actually a resort called Palmetto Bluff, 11,000 acres, and it's about a quarter of a mile from where I lived. Maybe a little more, maybe 2 miles, I don't know. I says, well, when I came down here last October and moved in, I says, I went over and see if they wanted to have anybody to work on the golf course. They wanted me to carry clubs. I said, I'm retired, I don't carry clubs. Anyway, he says, well, why don't you work in the barn like I do? Meet the people, do the gopher jobs, set up the course, meet them at the gate, whatever, and then you can work right at home. I said, that sounds like a good idea. He got the first job over there, and they were growing, they were new and just getting started. And so he introduced me to the director of golf, and he saw what I'd been doing at Harbor Town and what other experience that I had, and he was ready to hire me right away. And I said, maybe I can barter. Bartering is a fun thing to do. I've done that all my life. But anyway, I says, he only wanted me 2 days a week, which was great. And because it was a new course and they didn't need me that much. But I said, well, listen, I'm working at this place over on the island called Harbor Town, and everybody knows what it is, and when they come down, they love to play Harbor Town. And I says, well, no, first I told him I don't work Sundays. He said, no problem. Okay, now the second one is that, I'm talking about Harbor Town. I said, I would love to keep my job over there on, say, Friday and Saturdays when they have most play, and so that I could actually take my friends over to play Harbor Town when they come to town, because they could go back home and say, hey, I played Harbor Town. Yeah. He said, that's no problem. Well, no, I told him, I said, how about this? I said, I'll give you Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. And of those 4 days, you can have me any 2 days you want me. And you can give me Harbor Town on Thursday and Friday, and I don't work Sunday. And we made a deal, and I got a job. I stayed there for 10 years, and it was a better course than Harbor Town. Nicholas built it. It's back in the tidal marshes and creeks and the pine trees, and it's every hole is a different hole. If you don't know a golfer, I mean, I love some of them because they were easy, and I love some of them because they were hard. It was just a fantastic. So I had both of those courses for 10 or 12 years that I could play for free and take a guest with me.
Nice.
And it was retirement heaven for a golfer.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
But living down south was also pretty good. And we just came back because we got 2 daughters that still live up here. One's in Loveland, over on Adams Road, and the other one's in Indianapolis. And so we're coming back to be near family, which is what it's all about anyway.
Yeah.
My view is God is number one, family is number two, and work is number three. Yeah. But do your best at all of them. And here's something else for the people watching. If you're doing good in your business and your business is doing good, keep working hard at it. But don't ever ignore your family, and make sure you're always doing something you need to do with them. If the kids say, do it now, Daddy, or do it now, Mommy, don't wait until next week, because they'll be gone in a hurry.
If you have nothing else,
I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming in. Can't wait to get this out to Little Miami student body.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll love to hear what you have to say.
Well, I wish I'd have practiced more, so I'd have been. Oh, I didn't get to show this.
What is it?
Oh,
Love your
Post-credit
neighbor.
scene.
I still am, I told you I'm a part-time artist. I
Yeah.
still am. This is my most recent thing that I'm thinking about maybe getting out somewhere.
Okay.
Red, yellow, black, brown, and white. All just alike.
Nice.
I love that.
And people need to know that
Yeah.
wherever they go.
I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well,
I enjoyed it very much.
thanks to everyone that sat down and watched the interview.
I'm just glad I didn't bring my wife along because she said, "Shut up, Gary, you're talking too much." She tells me that every morning after church.
All right. Well, that's the end of it. As always, it's a great day to be a Panther.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it.